Thank you all for joining us today. I hope your brains are turned on and ready to learn. What we're doing today is social media for local small business. My name is Logan Gruber. I work for Collab Digital Marketing. I'm based in Sauk Center. And then Neil Linscheid is my gracious host. He's with U of M Extension. He's also actually right here in Sauk Center, which is a wonderful, wonderful resource to have right in our community. We are here today because the Sauk Center Chamber and the Community Foundation brought us together to do these webinars. So we're very grateful to the Chamber and the Community Foundation and Stacy, who's on the line with us as well, for getting Neil and I together so that we can do this for the community. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my presentation, and I'm going to try to keep it relatively brief. Like we said, we only scheduled these for about half an hour or so, but we want to leave time for Q&A at the end with myself, with Neil, as well as so that you can talk amongst yourselves too and answer any questions or share ideas about social media for local business too, because we do have a lot of great resources right in our community and we can learn a lot from each other too. What we're going to go over briefly today is how and why your business might use social media, tools you can use to kind of help you figure out where you need to be and what you need to be doing, what metrics you maybe should be paying attention to and which ones you can ignore depending on your industry, tips for getting people from liking the page to purchasing or working with you. And then at the end, like I said, some Q&A time. And I apologize if you can hear my children in the background. It is leaving for school time. So let's see. No, nobody's on video except Kyle. Hi, Kyle. But if you want to indicate or raise your hand if you're comfortable being on video, I'm just curious, out of the 9 people here, how many of you are managing your own social media pages right now? Or there's also I know there's like a comment thing, like you can put a smiley face up on the corner or something like that. Any hands? No? Oh, we got Tina, Paul. Okay. All right. So some of us are, Kyle. Okay. Because I know sometimes there's it's just like a corporate office, is handling it, or you've got somebody that you hire externally to handle it, things like that. 33% of businesses are posting once per day on social media. That could be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Only about a third of those are actually measuring likes, comments, and shares that they're receiving. So kind of keeping track of what they're getting. Now, that may not be what you want to measure, but that's what only 34% of people who are using social media are measuring those things. Most are mixing, user-generated content and in-house content. So what is user-generated content? That'd be like if somebody leaves you a good review, taking that review, making an image out of it, and sharing that image per se. So taking what clients are giving you and sharing it on social media rather than just having to come up with everything on your own out of your own mind. 91% of small businesses are using Facebook, and 49% are using Instagram. Now that is US wide. That probably doesn't hold through Sauk Center area. Now, why or how can your business use social media? So for me, the number one reason to use social media is customer service and feedback. It's where people are, and it's an easy, frictionless way for people to get in touch with you. If you have, say a Facebook account for your business, being sure that you have the Facebook Messenger, say on your phone or on an employee's phone who's managing it, because people are going to be sending messages or even commenting on totally unrelated posts of questions about your business or questions about your products. So having that customer service and feedback channel is really the main reason for having social media. It helps you build that brand. Customer interest. So you can look at what people are posting on your social media page to see what they're interested in. But Facebook and other social media sites also have a lot of tools that you can use, or a lot of ways you could search to learn about your clients and learn about what they might be interested in that you can also offer. User created content, as I mentioned, taking a review and turning it into an image. If you are like a soft lines or like a grocery or clothing or something where you're selling directly to the public a physical item, If they are taking photos of that item or using it in public and they're providing you that usable image, you can use that on your social media too. So making sure that you are taking advantage of that user created content as you're able. Your competitors are out there using social media. They may not be your local competitors, but if you can look out at regional or people nationally who are in the same line as you, they're out there, they are getting success. Find out what they're doing right. Brand building and sales as well. There are ways to actually sell directly on social media depending on your industry. I wanted to go over a little bit just what social media channel you should use. Now, it's going to really depend on your industry, but I did want to point out that Facebook in particular has a way to see how many people in an area are using Facebook. So, for instance, there's almost 2.75 billion monthly active users on Facebook across the world, and there's 5,000 of them in the Sauk Center zip code who list Sauk Center as their town that they're living in. So there's 5,000 Facebook users in Sauk Center. Now the actual population, and Neil, your kind of demographics, but it's probably what, 10,000 or so in the zip code, maybe. But some, a good number of those are going to be children as well, or underage people who can't use Facebook. So you're looking at, I would guess probably 60% of people would be on Facebook in the Sauk Center area. And that's going to hold with general statistics that 60% of the US population uses social media daily. So that's just something to keep in mind. There is a very good presence on Facebook. I know personally, I absolutely hate Facebook, but it's something that you may need to use. Down the list is other social media sites you may have heard of: YouTube, Instagram, and all the rest. There are definitely options out there depending on what industry you're in. I wanted to look at how can you see how competitors are using social media. First of all, you probably really know about your local competitors, but you can actually watch them closely if you have a Facebook page. There is a way to watch other pages on Facebook. I'll go over that in just a minute. And you can see what they're posting and watch all of them in kind of a single area on your Facebook admin page. You could find similar businesses, like I said, that are outside of your market. You may even find a mentorship opportunity. And then if you have competitors who you're comfortable watching on social, see if they also have an email newsletter that they send out. Sometimes people are sending out newsletters once a month or once a quarter. Find out, what they're doing and what's working for them. That newsletter could be a treasure trove for you for insights into what's working. So like I said, there is a way to kind of watch your competitors if you're on Facebook. If you do have a Facebook page for your business, on the left-hand side of that page, there's a menu, and on there is a tab called Insights. So if you click Insights, it's going to load a page of statistics for you. On that page, if you scroll down to nearly the very bottom, there's a section called Pages to Watch. And you can add pages there. I believe you're able to add up to 20 or 25 pages to watch. And once you do that, it's a screen like this on the right here. So there's a blue button, Add Pages, and you can, the pages are ranked by their total page likes. And then you can see there's a column number 3 says from last week. It gives you a percentage of how much they've grown in their total page likes, which if that's something you're measuring, that's something you'd want to watch. The 4th column is posts this week. That's how many times they've posted in the past 7 days. It's a rolling 7-day number. And then engagement, which is likes, comments, and shares all added together, totaled. You can do that. You can see their general numbers. And if you click on the competitor's name, it'll show you all the posts that they've done in a rolling 7 days. So you can kind of see what worked for them or what didn't, and take advantage of that if you can.
So Logan, quick question.
Yep.
Is this a way basically to follow them without showing up as a follower?
Exactly. Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Neil, also for the population figures in the chat. If you have the chat open, Neil wrote, there's 7,889 people in our zip code. 5,000 of those are on Facebook, it says. And Facebook, I think, is 13 years or older. You have to be 13, I think, now. So thank you. And thank you for the question. I'm not sure who that was. Another thing that you can look at on Facebook in particular, I'm concentrating on Facebook because they're very, as we know, invasive and they catch a lot of data. So they have a lot of tools, is Facebook Audience Insights. So if you have a Facebook page, you have access to this tool, a business page, you have access to this tool, facebook.com/ads/audience insights, audience-insights. You can search for specific geographic area and it'll show you that data I pulled, like, oh, there's 5,000 people in Sauk Center on Facebook. Well, you can say, okay, how many men are there in Sauk Center on Facebook between the ages of 24 and 45 or whatever. They have specific age ranges that you can choose from. And these links, I'll send this presentation out to you guys. And I believe we're recording the video as well if you want to review this information. And Neil's got the link in the chat too. Thank you, Neil. So this allows you to get a deeper, closer understanding of your audience. If you've got a specific geography that you're working in, you can dial in on a target market and see more information about them. All right, and then there's another tool that's outside of all these social media sites. This is a tool by a guy named Rand Fishkin. He's based out of Seattle. He built a tool called Spark Toro. That's Spark, S-P-A-R-K, Toro, T-O-R-O.com. This tool, there's a free version and a paid version. On the free version, you get 10 searches per month. And what you can do is you can search for people who are similar to the audience that you want to talk to. So if you know that your audience follows a particular page on Facebook, like they follow the Minnesota Monthly Magazine on Facebook, or they use the hashtag #MomLife all the time or occasionally, you can put that into Spark Toro. You'll say my audience follows the page, and then you type in the link or paste in the link. It's going to show you what other things the people who follow that page commonly do. It'll say, well, 10% of people who follow Minnesota Monthly also follow these two other magazines. And boom, now you know, okay, those are the 3 magazines that I should advertise in. Or people who do that also listen to 92.9 or also have interests in these things or follow this particular influencer on Instagram. So it pulls data from a myriad of social media sites as well as analytics data from Google and presents an audience to you so that you can learn more about them and what they're listening to, what they're watching, what podcasts they're hearing, and provides that to you. Again, 10 free searches a month, probably more than enough to get you some information to help you make some new decisions. And then Google, just searching your industry name in other similar sized city to see if there are people regionally who are trying to do what you're doing, but maybe having more success. You can find them, learn about them, and watch what they're doing as well. When you're making new decisions about social media, you have to know what you're going to measure. If you change what you're doing on social media or do something entirely new and you don't measure it, you're not going to know if it's working. Just like when you're in 7th grade science class, you have to have a control and you have to have an experiment. Track your results, track what you're getting for a month or two before you make any changes. Just keep doing what you're normally doing, see what your results are, or go back and collate data from the past. What are you going to measure though? Are you going to track comments and likes and shares and views and impressions? These are what we commonly call vanity metrics. They're about how people are interacting with your brand in that social media context. It's not sales, it's not money, it's just the visibility of your brand. Are you tracking clicks? So are people clicking on your links or clicking on your sales page to go back to your website? Or are you going to track maybe conversations that you have over chats, over messages, tracking conversations in the comments and saying, oh, I had 6 good conversations this month or something like that. So figure out what you're going to track externally on social media. And then what are you going to track internally? What are you putting into it? Okay. Are you tracking how many posts you're going to make per week? You're going to say, oh, I'm going to do 3 posts per week, 2 images and 1 video every week, and see how that goes. I'm going to stay consistent. What are you going to do? Are you going to outreach for reviews and feedback? Are you going to message, your best clients and ask them to leave you reviews on social media to try to boost yourself that way? Consistently doing that. Are you sending sending messages to people, or making sure that you're commenting back when somebody comments on your posts, or just regularly checking in on your insights and making sure that you're just tracking your results. So make sure that you know what you're tracking externally and internally, and then set SMART goals. Now, if you've attended any business classes or chamber classes and things like that, you've probably heard of SMART goals at some point or another. Make sure that your goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Do not be vague on these goals. Make sure that they are hard and fast numbers that you can follow and you can attain. Otherwise, there's going to be no point in making changes, because you're not going to know if it worked or not. So we haven't talked much about sales yet. How do you get people to purchase? So some of you are working, and I don't know all of your businesses. Some of you are working in kind of a retail type environment. Some of you are in a business to business type environment where you don't have an online store. People can't just buy something from you and walk in the door and walk out the door. It's a longer process than that. It's a lot of paperwork, it's contracts, etc. So it's going to be different for everybody, but generally in a retail type environment, the rule is 80% educational and entertainment posts, 20% promotion and sales. Again, that may be different for a B2B setting, but I would probably start off with this and see what kind of reply you get. So 80% education and entertainment means like don't sell at all. Just make information about your business or about your industry, things that people might find interesting. That might be that you go live on Facebook and show them, your office, or share photos of your pets if you bring pets in the office, things like that. Make it easy to buy. So if you do have an online store, make it a well thought out, well organized store, easy to purchase, not a lot of barriers, direct links from your social media to that store, and then ensuring that, I'll go over that in just a second. You can also sell directly on a place like Facebook. I've got an example of a Facebook store here. This is a client of mine. They have a clothing store on Facebook where they sell their hoodies and t-shirts and hats. It's really easy to get to. They even have from their website a link to this store instead of having a store on their website. So you can set up, if you want to experiment with it, a store on social media, and then later, if it's working well for you, you can build that out on your website. You also need to build trust in order to do sales. So make sure that your Facebook, your Instagram, and your website and your brand in real life on your building all match. Okay, the logos are the same, the colors are the same, the information is the same, the tone of the writing is the same, that your photo, if you've got a profile photo, looks like you. It's not highly touched up or from 10 years ago. It's you, it's your business. Make sure that it's trustworthy. If it's at all different, it can turn people off and they'll just leave and go somewhere else. Make sure that you have a strong call to action in that 20% of promotion and sales. Come on in, or try something new, or it's hot in the oven for you, isn't really going to cut it. You have to experiment with a lot of different calls to action. Give them a strong, emotional reason to come in and try something that's new. If you take away one thing from today, everybody here, I think, every business here can do one thing on social. It's going live. Going live on Facebook, to me, is giving you the best bang for your buck and the best time investment that you can do. If you were to professionally script and prepare a video, which I've done many, many times, it can take a dozen hours to create a video that's 10 minutes long. It takes a lot of time and input to script it and do it right. Going live on social is much less intensive. You should still have a plan for what you're going to say and what you're going to show. Have an idea of the information that people want to get out of it. For instance, on this video here, which the link is in here as well, the Berg's Country Barn, is really good at this. What they did in this instance was, in the fall when COVID was resurging, they had to open their barn for business. and they wanted to make sure that anybody who came knew exactly what to expect. So there was no ambiguity. There was no issue of trusting that health codes were enforced, that everyone was comfortable no matter what their opinion on the matter, that everybody was comfortable coming in that door, and that everybody knew to expect a line because there were these protocols in place. Here's where you go, here's where you park, here's where you walk. So the video actually starts on the road. She's got a driver and she's live on the video. She never shows her face, which is fine. You don't have to. She shows the road, driving up to their building, the fish house where they do the check-in, the sanitation station, and the entryway. So that way everyone knew exactly what to expect coming in. I've got the text of it written out on the side as well. And underneath the little video here, it was a 3.5 minute long video, but she had they had thousands of views on this video, 41 shares, 100 reactions, very, very highly relevant, timely video. They needed to do it, and people were hungry for that information. They didn't. So I'm sure people would have showed up without it, but I'm sure a lot more people showed up because they felt safe and knew what to expect and felt trust. So again, last thing to take away, if you do one thing, go live on Facebook, try it once a month. Find something that you can go live about, plan it out. Don't spend hours on it, but have a general idea of what you want to do and what you want to say. All right, I'm going to check the chat here. I don't know if that was Neil or anybody else. All Neil, perfect.
Yeah,
all Neil, all
Logan, I put some things in the chat box there, and one that I just want to mention to everyone, and then let's get to some questions. Or maybe you're really feeling good about how you've been using social media, and you'd like to share that with the others on the call here. Just start thinking about your questions or what you're feeling good about. One of the links I shared in there is to a site called Hootsuite, which can help you automate some of your social media posting. And this one is specifically about a social media calendar and how to create one and why you'd want to do that. And I think the take-home point is just because the reason to do something like this is that we always have good intentions the day of to post something on social media, and then get busy and have all kinds of other things happen in our world. And so do yourself of today a favor by planning ahead and getting ready and thinking it through maybe a week ahead of what you're planning to post. So let's ask some questions here. Maybe what's really working for you with social media? I think I'd like to hear that.
This is Kyle. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I had during the COVID, when it was kind of in its peak, I think I don't know. I'm not doing it anymore, but I'm probably gonna get back to it. I started doing a supporting local campaign on our Facebook page where we were supporting the Melrose restaurant. So I do like once, I'm trying to remember how often I was doing it, if I did it every week for like 10 weeks or something, or if it was once a month. But I did like $100 in gift cards to 5 different local restaurants in our small town of Melrose. And that, if you look back a few months and see some of those, I mean, it was crazy. Again, 100 comments and hundreds of likes and shares. And so that like really helped our agency page grow. So I think anything we can do, especially in these small towns, to support people in our communities is huge. So that was one, probably our biggest success we've had was with that. And right. I just used like a photo of the gift cards of the restaurants, so it was advertising for them, and it was just getting people in there to get takeout and stuff to support them during a pretty tough time for those businesses. So anything I think where we can be helping others, not ourselves, seems to be better for us, coincidentally.
Sure. It might seem counterintuitive, right? That that would be your most popular post, but thinking back to that 80-20 rule of education or really tapping into something that people care about using social media, it really generates a lot of interest and interaction with you instead of, I'm sure you haven't had that kind of thing with the new policies that have come out, right?
Right.
A policy change post doesn't get that. Sure.
Right.
What else is working for you on social media?
This is Stacy with the Sauk Center Chamber, and I would reiterate what Kyle said. First, I find most of my posts that have the bulk of the response video tends to perform better than just a post. And anything involving the heartstrings of your community, whether it be like Kyle mentioned with supporting other businesses or promoting businesses supporting businesses, have gotten a lot more traction on my page. So I find video first and then business to business support kind of being that second. And our big attention grabber was the video we did where we pulled lots of different businesses together to do the Passing the Light. That one hit over 15,000 views lasting longer than 5 seconds, because Facebook will give you those feedbacks too, like to how long people tuned in. That was over 15,000 views and 130 shares. So I find anytime you bring that human element into it, no matter what it is you're posting or trying to cross promote, does better.
Paul, I know you're probably typing into the chat here. I'm not sure what was going on with your audio, but hopefully we can hear from you what's working. I'd also like to hear where are some challenges for you in using this? Maybe challenges and what to do or when, or what might work, what's kind of on your mind related to those things.
For mine, this is Kyle again. The struggle is the call to action stuff. Even during that, those early on in those gift card deals, we're getting, a ton of likes and shares, and then it kind of fizzled out. But even when it was going really well, we weren't getting, because anyone who calls in for quotes for insurance, we ask them how they heard of us. Was it a referral? Was it you saw us wherever? And it's never really from that. So I don't know. Do you guys think this is more just a way of getting people to continually see us, or should we be expecting or doing something different where we should be getting more? I saw you guys on Facebook, and that's why they're calling us. Or does it vary a lot? Like, we're a service industry. Is that a lot different than products?
I think on the service side, and especially your industry, having talked with a few folks in the past in a similar position, your position or your goals might be really just setting yourself up as a brand and helping people see that you're a trustworthy source and you're invested in the community, those kind of things. And then your sort of immediate conversion is much more relational anyway, right? Like any sort of advertising, it's such a saturated environment with insurance advertising that it would seem that relational is the key. So if you were trying to move to a call to action, you might focus on that relational strategy, which would be, let's just have a talk about your policy. Like, put it out there that you can have some sort of direct interaction with you and, show your customer service abilities, that kind of thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and see if it works. Who knows, right? That's a free thing to try. Paul, so you said you get a lot of attention changing the cover photo once in a while. And what sort of business do you have, so we can maybe we'll look at your page and see, and making sure to take a picture of another business that are helping us and giving credit for their help. Cool. So seems like a common theme here, especially in this area, is being able to show that you're connected and supporting others in the area, and cross promotion keeps coming up here. And Amy, Sprinkle of Joy. With Sprinkle of Joy and Joyful Blooms, we offer a small discount to our customers for checking in social media or tagging us in a post. Okay. Amy, are you able to unmute? And I have just a kind of question. How is that working around here? Does that generate a lot of interest, and is it successful?
So I have a noisy baby that you may get a few sounds from, but yeah, so we see a lot of good from it. We have 2 locations here in Sauk Center and then also in Browerville. And we see anytime that someone checks in or takes in a post, and it's interesting because it's usually from like not nearby, like it's people from Brainerd or it's people from St. Cloud, or very seldom is it local.
Sure. So you'd like to increase that local interaction maybe, but the outer towners
Yes.
are not. Yeah, I understand. There you are, Paul.
There we go. Now
Hey.
we're live.
Nice.
You bet. Hey, we're farmers out here in central Minnesota, but we do a lot of our employment hiring. Facebook is our main thing. So we're trying to keep our Facebook active live so people can go on there and see what we're doing, so they're check us on Facebook beforehand, but it's been our #1 resource for that. So
that's really cool. That's a different layer that we're talking about, recruiting employees, right? And you're posting pictures, things like that. Have you done things like gone live on Facebook?
Yeah, somewhat. Not too many, but videos of just us farming or whatever. But we try to promote, like somebody has a baby here, we always give them a gift and show that. Sooner or later they send you a picture with the gift you gave them, and you just got our logo on and stuff. So it's just keeping our page fun, and you're supporting your own farming and letting people know what you're doing too. But
that's great. Well, Paul, when you think about things that you're curious to learn more about, what's something that comes to mind related to social media, or you want to improve on? Either way.
Probably our biggest challenge, we're trying to get more of the team involved on Facebook, I guess, and where our employees would feel more comfortable posting stuff. So it's just not always us doing it. And we do, we got 3-4 guys that are pretty active on the page and do stuff, but any helpful hints on trying to get the rest of the team to be more, post a selfie with what they're doing or anything like that?
Well, something to think about is how much you really want that to happen versus how much you want it to be filtered. I think that on the plus side, having people post and it bring their networks into your business network is a good thing. But there's a lot of trust that you have to have that once that post goes live and it's on your page, that it's appropriate and that you agree with it and things like that. So you may want to consider a filter, but requesting content from them. You like it goes through you first or something to that effect. Any thoughts from you, Logan, on how to get the rest of the team involved?
Yeah, that's something that I also struggle with for sure, because some people just don't enjoy being in front of the camera, right? So what I've had to do is ask them to document kind of what they are doing. So showing like the work that they're enjoying working on, asking them for details about it, and then kind of putting that together later. In my instance, we're working with online building websites and doing marketing. So asking them to kind of document what they're building as they go, taking screenshots of it, and then describing what they've built, so that way I can use that later. So in your case, if you can encourage them to maybe take a photo from the seat of the combine, or I'm not sure exactly what you do, but and if they're not comfortable having their face in it, they don't have to. At least having them describe a little bit about what they were doing at that particular time, so that you can use that.
Yeah, I like that suggestion, and I'll try to give you a concrete example. It's in Renville County, but I can't remember which meat market it is. It's a butcher shop, and they did a longer YouTube video where they followed the processing of an animal step by step. They didn't actually have the animal in there, but they've interviewed everyone involved in that process, and they explained what they did and how they kept the place clean, and they explained how the whole aging of meat works. And it was a really engaging video because you got to understand what happened behind the scenes, but you also got to like see all the workers and get to know them a little bit and see their enthusiasm for the work they do and the cool equipment that they use, things like that. So I would imagine that in your case, Paul, you know, tapping into people's excitement for the parts of the work might be really very engaging, and that comes across well on video or you know, little posts, but video is probably best. Well, I know we're past our time here, and just want to let you all know that how much we appreciate you coming, and we'll continue to do this on the first Wednesdays of the month. Logan and I try to think about topics that are interesting. So we'd love to hear from you what you'd like more of. And we're also interested in hearing about how we can make this more interesting and exciting for you. And, you know, hopefully someday we'll be able to visit in person, or, you know, have some discussions outside of a Zoom meeting where we can spend time sharing what's working for each of you with each other. Logan, any final comments today?
Thank you all for coming. Like Neil said, if you have any thoughts about, you know, something else that you'd like to hear, you have more questions about the topic today, you can email them to us, or if you know us personally, you can just ask us. We'll be happy to put together some answers and send them over to you, as well as use them in future webinars. So thank you all.
And Kyle, you asked about the recording. Yeah, we'll get the recording out to you.
Yep.
Have a good day.